What is up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Leeds Bros for player ratings. Leeds United lost 2-0 down in Turf Moor to Burnley, which was a very underwhelming performance. And trigger warning, this is probably going to be a brutal player ratings because myself and Dylan are not happy with that performance down at Turf Moor. It was really, really bad, very, very tough on the eye. And as you can tell by Dylan's face, it ain't going to be a good one. But I'm sure you're like the rest of us as well. We're all Leeds United fans and not happy with the results. So please make sure you're dropping a like on the video. And of course, we would love you to hit that subscribe button as well. Dylan, we'll dive headfirst into, we'll speak about the goalkeeper, Carl Darlow, today. I'll give my ratings first and then you'll go next. It was obviously the lead up to the first goal. Dylan was a wayward pass from Carl Darlow, which ultimately led to them scoring their first goal. Didn't do a lot wrong, but yeah, the goals to kind of give away were kind of collective. We looked very kind of ropey at the back, so I don't think you can kind of give him a high score on one today. So I'm just going to go with a 6 for Darlow.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I'm going to go a bit low. I'm going to say a 5. Same thing. He didn't do anything wrong, didn't do anything right, but at the same time, it was certain times his passing was a bit ropey, as you would say. So yeah, didn't do anything wrong, but didn't do anything right either. So a 5 from me.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Let's move on then, Dylan, to our right back. Then we'll go with Jaden Bogle next. I actually thought it was a decent day, Dylan, for Jaden Bogle. I thought defensively he looked good. He was cutting out a lot of balls. He was getting us up the pitch. He did give us an option going forward. He just had that one opportunity, Dylan, for me that he should have been scoring, the one that was put over the top. The Brav kid did come out and put a bit of pressure on him, but for me, he should be scoring. But I'll go with a 7 for Jaden Bogle, Dylan, for me, just because I thought his individual performances was good. Team collective wasn't, so a 7 for Bogle.
Look, genuinely, I think it wasn't a great performance from him. I simply think it's down to who's in front of him. No disrespect to Brandon Aarons, and I thought within the first 20 minutes, the two of them are playing off each other really well. But yet again, if he's our main threat going forward as a right back, it doesn't look good. Yeah, he had that one chance. He should have scored it in my eyes. So I'm going to give him a 5 simply because he missed it. He would have got a higher score if he had scored it.
Yeah. Dylan is ruthless with this one. We'll move on to our left back then, Dylan. Gabby Gudmundsson. Again, I probably think our fullbacks were probably the best out of the team today. I thought Gudmundsson was good. It was weird, the thing with him and Harrison then down that left hand side, Dylan. You could obviously tell that they haven't played much together, but Harrison was very deep at times, very deep and very narrow. He was almost playing like, a wing back rather than a winger. And we've seen Gudmundsson get forward a lot more than what he was. And I actually thought when he did get forward, he was putting crosses into the box. He was winning those corners. His defending was decent as well. So I'm going to have to go the same as Bogle at the other side because I said I think our fullbacks were probably the best today. So I'm going to go with a 7 for Gudmundsson as well.
I have to agree, and just trigger warning again. Yeah, this is probably the highest rated player is going to get because for me, I thought he was the best out of a bad bunch. A few times, his tackling was superior for me. His passes sometimes let him down.
Mm.
I thought it was on just simply mistimed passes or people weren't in the right position where he was looking for. But he seemed to always trot up and down that left hand side, always looking to get us forward.
Get on the overlap, yeah.
So for me, he's the best of a bad bunch and a 7. And that's the last 7 you're getting out of me today.
Let's move on to the centre half pair, and then we'll go with Joe Rodon first. Look, he was in no man's land for the first goal, Dylan. It was all over the place. Other than that, he was okay, but I expect more from Joe Rodon as in leadership, and he only kind of showed like kind of a little bit kind of bite and kind of annoyance towards the end of the game when the situation was with Barnes and Hannibal and stuff like that. But I don't think we covered ourselves in glory defensively today, so I don't think it's right to give him a high rating. So unfortunately, probably the lowest score you'll probably see Joe Rodon get this year. I'm going to go with a 6 from because I don't think he was particularly good today.
Yeah, look, he was steady on for me. It wasn't his best performance, but it's not something that we really say about Joe Rodon at times. He never really knocks a performance, as you said there. It's the lowest score that he's probably ever going to get. Mixed emotions about him, if I'm being honest with you. He was up and down, but yet again, the team collectively just simply wasn't good enough. He was unlucky with his chances, had a chance straight into the keeper's hands. He's improving in ways that we want to improve, but on the other side of it, he let us down a little bit.
It was just an off day today, Dylan. I wouldn't solely blame him. I think it was collectively.
I'm going to go with a 5 for Joe Rodon.
Ooh, that's low. Right, let's move on then to Pascal Struijk, Dylan. Yeah, and before the game, I was calling to keep him in for this game that he hasn't done much wrong, but I think against West Ham, I think it's time. It's definitely time now to bring Bial in. Um, I thought he was bad, Dylan. I thought Struijk was bad today. He made a lot of errors, a lot of misplaced passes. He was just poor. He was just really, really poor today. He didn't look solid defending wise. Didn't really kind of usually win his headers, what you'd usually see him doing, and kind of his dominance at the back. So yeah, a poor game I think for Struijk today, Dylan. I'm gonna go with a 5 for him. I don't think it was good today. And as I said, I think it's time for a change back there. I think it's time for Bial to come in.
I think you're being generous. Being honest, for me, I think Struijk was probably the worst player on that pitch today. He really annoyed me today
I
at
don't agree.
times.
Someone else was my worst player today.
I just thought he was all over the place. I thought his passing was piss poor. I thought his defensive awareness was piss poor. He got dragged down an awful lot. We seen it last year in the championship. I think it's time for a change. I completely agree. After the last two deflected goals, no fault of his own, you can't really stop them. But as of today, not really happy. I'm gonna go with a 4 for Struijk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very low. That's very low. Let's move into the midfield then, Dylan. We'll go with Anton Stack first. And for me, Dylan, it's 3 bad performances in a row from Anton Stack today. And you said Struijk was your worst performer. I think Stack was, Dylan, for me today. I thought he was very poor. The only thing that I can remember in the game that he done well was the free kick, the save that he pulled out of the Bravke. Not the best display for him at all today, and we know his standards. We know that he's a lot better. But as I said, that's 3 poor performances I think in a row. He was kind of sloppy in the tackling as well. You want him to be a little bit stronger and kind of midfield general in there. He wasn't. He lost his man for the first goal as well. The second goal as well, he got torn for their second goal as well, which was obviously a cracking strike and a great goal, and he didn't do much else in the game. So I'm going to go with a 4 from Anton Stack, and again another one that I think against West Ham needs to be taken out of the team, and it's time for Tanaka to come in as well because it hasn't been good enough for me.
I just think with Anton Stack in general, I think the midfield, we're solely reliant on players because we can't score. That the midfield should be the one to drag us up the pitch, and Anton Stack certainly didn't do that today. Obviously, agree. I thought his passing, his tackling wasn't great. You just see him at times very. What would you say this? He didn't look arse to me. If I'm being honest, it's as simple as that. It's definitely needed for a shake-up. I can't really comment on it another way, but I'll go with a 5. I'm just solely disappointed in the midfield.
Yeah.
Everyone, if I'm being honest.
It is. It's going to be a brutal player ratings, lads. This one because look at what do you expect after 2-0 loss against a relegation rival? It's not good. Now, I know some people won't be able to take this, but luckily, we have to sit here behind the screen and do this. Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, the players weren't good enough today. They were well below par. So look, it's sad that we have to do this, but it is what it is. Let's move on to our captain then, Ethan Ampadu, who I thought he was a calm figure in midfield at times, probably too calm. I want more on my captain, Dylan. When our backs are against the wall and the chips are against us, I want him to be the leader. I want him not to fly into tackles, but I want him to kind of set the tone for the game, Dylan. Do you know what I mean? Put a strong tackle in, rally the troops, get them all going around. He didn't really seem very quiet. Anytime I looked at him on the pitch, he was very much sauntering around, not kind of pointing here, there, shouting, get them up the pitch and stuff like that. I want a little bit more from my captain in situations like that. But his general all-round play, Dylan, it was decent. You get what you get out of Ethan Ampadu and his tackling as well. So I'm going to go with a 6 for Ampadu, but we need more out of that midfield.
His general play as opposed to passing and getting the players up the pitch wasn't great. He done his bit to a certain degree. Very disappointed, as you said there. He meant to be a captain and a leader in the team. Very quiet. Stood on the ball too much for me and slowed it down way too much. We've seen it last season in the championship. When you're trailing a game against a relegation rival, you want to have that bite. You want to have that flair, that kind of intensity in the game, and he didn't bring that. He didn't do it for anyone. He didn't rev anyone up, and simply not good enough to me. That he just wasn't a captain today. It was just piss poor.
Needs to be back.
I'm gonna go with a 5 for Ethan Ampadu.
Dylan is brutal today. Right, let's move on to Sean Longstaff then, Dylan. Probably one of his quieter performances that we've come accustomed to with him. I don't think he probably did a lot wrong, Dylan. I just think he wasn't really kind of involved in the game. He was getting into the box, a couple of kind of half opportunities to try and get on the end of things. I remember there was one that was crossing from Good Munson from the left-hand side and it bounced underneath his foot, led to Bogle, shot that was deflected wide. And yeah, it was just kind of that kind of type of day, wasn't it? Balls kind of bobbling off people and rolling under their foot and that kind of sort of day for everyone. But Yeah, I wouldn't be taking him out of the team, Dylan, because look, it was still a decent enough performance with Sean Longstaff, but just not the level what we've seen of him. We need to get him back there for West Ham, so I'm going to go with a 6 for Longstaff.
Similar to Rodon, I don't think you're doing anything right, and I don't think you're doing anything wrong. At one stage, I seen the ball being played to Struijk, and he was roaring like a madman to get the ball up the field, and that's what you want. That's the experience that comes with the Premier League. He was unlucky with a few of his chances. He was flying into a few tackles, but yet again, with the players around him, he couldn't really get going. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 6 for Longstaff. Steady on the ice.
Yeah. Right, let's move into that front three position. Then we'll go to the right hand side first. We'll go with Brendan Aronson, who, look, let's just call it out. He wasn't good today for me. He's always busy. Do you know, we know that. We know what we get when he's busy chasing down balls, but in possession again, he wasn't really up to much. He had one opportunity in the first half where I think it's probably a missed chance, Dylan, for me. I know Dubravka gets the hand to it, hits the post and it goes away, but I think he has to be doing better there. It's straight at the goalkeeper either side, and it's 1-1. So he needs to be doing better than that. But again, it's Brendan Aronson, and we know that he's not very clinical in them positions either. So I went with a 5 for Brendan Aronson, just with pure lack of creativity on that right hand side.
I've been giving him a lot of stick lately. I keep saying it in videos, but over the last 3-4 games, including this one, I thought he was very good. And certainly in this game, I thought within the first 25 minutes, I thought he was okay. He, as you said, he kept busy. You know, he looked like a flyer. He looked like he was at it. And then he just kind of disappeared or faded out, if you want to say. Really let me down with that shot. Very disappointed with that. I know people are probably like, oh, you're being a bit harsh. I'm not. Harrison laid out the ball. He had loads of time in the world to slot that to place it, and he didn't, especially that close to the goalkeeper. So I'm going to go with a 5 for Brendan Aronson.
Yeah, no, 5 as well. We'll go to the left-hand side then, Dylan. Jack Harrison, and we spoke about Harrison before the game, Dylan, that this is his opportunity now with Okafor being out. He has to grab the shirt with both hands. I think if Okafor is fit for whatever for West Ham, he comes straight back in. A very laboured sort of lack of energy performance in the kind of the opening half from Jack Harrison. Very deep, very narrow. You know, not really kind of what you want from Jack Harrison, where you want a little bit of width and high up the pitch where he's getting crosses into the box. It was more good Munson getting the cross into the box rather than Jack Harrison. And yeah, I don't think he done himself any favours, Dylan, today to kind of grab the short and, make way to kind of get into this team. So I think Okafor will come back in against West Ham if he's fully fit. And again, I'm going to go with a 5 as well, Dylan, because I don't think he pulled up any trays for us today. No creativity.
Look, I'm watching it and you're watching it and everyone else at home was watching it, and he's just so predictable for me. Very predictable. He doesn't shine any light through of what he's going to do differently. He's gone down that left hand side. He's trying to whip the ball in. Certain times he's falling over his feet. His dribbling wasn't there. And Kyle Walker had him for pace all day long. He tried to do it once or twice. As you would do, you try it once or twice. But then when you're going to 3 and 4 times, you're just making a tick yourself. The nice little dribble that he did have is when he did lay off Brendan Aronson. I thought it was a great little pace behind the ball to lay off Brendan Aronson. That's the only positive I can see that he brought to this team today. Other than that, he was piss poor. I'm going to go with a 4 for Jack Harrison.
Jesus, that's low. Right, we'll go on to Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Dylan. Again, look, I actually thought he done his role very well, winning flick-ons, bringing others into play. The concerning side of it was lack of creativity and lack of chances from Dylan. That's the concerning side of it for me. I think he done his role well. He done it to the best of his ability. In there with Laurent and Steve holding the boat with him up. But again, Dylan, he didn't really have anything, any kind of clear opportunity to score a goal today. The only one you think about was the bicycle kick that kind of hits his shin and goes over. He didn't really have any clear-cut chances today. One header towards the end that landed on the top of the net as well, and the game was kind of gone. But I think it was a decent enough performance from Calvert-Lewin. You'll see him keep a spot against West Ham. But again, it's going to be a collective. It's not going to be high-scoring one, so I went with a 6 for Calvert-Lewin.
DCL, I do like him, lads. I know everyone's kind of slating it, that I've been slating it, but I'm not. I'm simply, he's getting in the right areas. We can't keep saying he's getting in the right areas and he's not putting the ball in the back of the net. He was very unlucky with that bicycle kick. Obviously, it hit off his shin. Yeah, he does knock it down and he brings the players into play. But, probably no fault of his own. He didn't really get anything. He didn't get the service that he needed. But yeah, it's time for a shake-up from me, if I'm being honest with you. Do I start him against West Ham? I don't know, if I'm being honest with you. I'm being now.
I have to. Have to do.
This is what it's about.
You need to give him service. You need to give him service.
This is it. He's not getting it.
Yeah, that's what we need the wingers back. You need Okafor, Dan James, Willie Nanto. You need to provide for Calvert-Lewin and score goals. And
Exactly, and
he done his role today, but he's getting no opportunities. So
that,
no one creating chances from him, and that's massive for a striker like him. Anyway,
well, anyway,
we'll agree to disagree.
I went with a 5 for DCL.
Jesus, that's low. You harsh fuck you. Right, let's move on then to the substitutions. Then we'll go first of all Dan James, and look at probably the only positive myself and Dylan spoke about it on the watch along. The only positive today is Dan James is back on the pitch for Leeds United. Obviously, as you'd expect from Dan James, busy when he came on. You can just see that he's not fully fit. It's going to take him time to completely get back up to speed, and hopefully we see that Dan James of last year. But again, didn't really kind of create much, Dylan. But I'm just because I'm happy that he's back in the side. I'm happy that he's another option. Hopefully he gets more fitness under his belt and he can give us a few more minutes against West Ham next Friday night. So I'm going to go with a 6 for Dan James. Great to see him back.
I agree. That is the positive I can take from it is DJ. I want to see him fit. I want to see him flying. I want to see him starting. I want to see him banging in goals. So hopefully the fitness the injury stays away, and I hope he can get the fitness back up because we really need him. We really do need him. Looked well when he came on. Every time he got the ball, he was bombing it up the pitch, not showing his full potential with the sprinting, taking players one-on-one. But that's as expected because he's come back from injury. But his delivery service was good at times. Sometimes it wasn't. But yeah, steady on the eyes. I just went with a 6 for TJ.
Yeah, great to have him back. Let's move on then to Lucas Metcha Dillon. Now, in fairness, we're into the territory now of normally with Daniel Farke when things aren't going great. His plan B is to throw on every striker that we have on the bench and basically throw whatever he can on and let's see what happens. But I actually thought Metcha did okay, Dylan. A couple of half chances with headers as well. And I kind of like the idea, Dylan, of maybe going to a 3-5-2 and seeing what him and Calvert-Lewin could do together, Calvert-Lewin and Pirro, and just maybe shaking it up a little bit. But look, Farke's not going to do that. But I actually thought Metcha had a decent enough game, Dylan. I actually surprisingly went with a 7 for him.
Yeah, simply on the header. So I genuinely think when he did come on, I was kind of fuming. If anyone did watch along, and I was kind of just done with it at this stage, waiting for someone to do something. No one really did. He had one chance, obviously, with the header. It was saved completely, and then I think he had another one where he headed it over the bar. Same thing, like DCL is getting in the right areas, and it's good. It is good. But it's not putting the ball in the back of the net. But yeah, 6 from me.
6 for him. Let's move on to your boy Dylan. Joel Pirro obviously gets on again and again, similar exactly with Metcha thrown on the pitch to kind of see if he can make anything happen, and it kind of seemed to just cause a little bit of chaos up there. Just a couple of wayward efforts. That's when I think about Pirro today. A couple of wayward efforts, couldn't really get into the game. And I think you probably just have to go middle of the road from him. I think you have to go with a 5 because again he didn't put up any trees and a couple of missed chances.
Exactly. Didn't get in the right areas. He was smothered with Burnley being all their players being back, and as you said, all the strikers that was on the pitch, it was just cramped on the edge of their box. Couldn't really get. He had one shot. I think it was deflected straight away. And to be honest with you, I think it's a bit harsh to give him any sort of rating. So same thing, straight down the middle, a 5.
Yeah. The other one then is Tanaka Dylan. I think he's probably one that's probably you can't really rate after coming on the last few minutes of the game, so I probably think it's not applicable to kind of give him a rating. But I do think he'll probably start against West Ham. I do think that midfield needs a bit of a shake-up. Last but not least, Dylan, our manager, Daniel Farke, who I'm very disappointed with today, Dylan. I think half-time we needed to shake it up. It was a really bad first half performance. It needed a shake-up either in personnel or formation. He didn't do either, and we came out the second half the exact same as the way we started the first half. Lack of energy, lack of creativity, lack of fight. Basically, that's probably the most concerning thing for me today with Daniel Farke, and he failed to kind of to shake it up. And he needs to now, Dylan, come West Ham next week. You're massive on it, you say, about using the squad, and he does need to change it now, Dylan. And it's probably got to the stage now where you probably just put Perry back in now against West Ham. You put Bial in and you put Tanaka in, and start that kind of competition now for places to let them boys know that taking out this team. You ain't getting an easy ride here, but it does need to change after the loss against Spurs. The very, very bad performance today. I think that's probably our worst performance of the season. And I know Arsenal, we were slapped 5-0, but you could argue against international top quality players. Today was against Burnley. They got promoted with us last season, and we looked way below them. Way below them. And it's very concerning. So for me today, that's by far the worst performance of the season. But for Farke, Dylan, failed to change it again too late, and then the usual what you get with Farke, no plan B, just throw on all the strikers and hope something happens. So for me, poor. I'm going to go with 4 for Farke.
Yeah, look, I think the team selection we all kind of knew, considering Harrison was the only left winger, and Brandon Harrison's been playing out on that right hand side. would have been nice to see Jaden Bogle start on the right hand side. What you did call, but he didn't do it. We all knew that he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
His man management during the game, especially after the first half, no subs were made. We all knew it wasn't going to happen. But you kind of think about it from his point of view. Is it the right thing to do? But in that scenario, seeing the way we were playing, it was definitely needed for a shake-up. Too late, too little for the subs. And then, Darren, you said the exact same thing that I've always saying, and I'm sick of saying it, and I'm saying it since the championship, is there's no plan B with Daniel Farke. Chuck everyone on and see what happens. You're a striker, on you go and see what happens.
It's happened once.
It's simply not.
It came off once against Norwich away when Somerville gets the winner. It's happened once. He's done it 4 or 5 times since. It's the old typical Daniel Farke default. It's the panic mode, the panic button. Throw everyone on. Throw any strikers there. Get on the pitch. Try and score us a goal.
It's simply not good enough. I'm not a Farke. I just want to make that clear. But I am not happy with a man of his expertise as a professional manager.
He needs to turn it around quick, though, Dylan.
Yeah,
he needs to turn it around quick.
To not be able to...
These 5 games are massive for us.
To not be able to basically come up with a plan. And if your plan is just chuck everyone on, doesn't look good. Anyone can do that, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah. Any person can take it, you know what I mean? So for me, I'm going to go with a 3 for Daniel Farke. Really not happy.
Yeah.
Really
poor player ratings overall, Dylan. And look, we have to be honest with ourselves, I think, as Leeds fans. And we're probably going to get, maybe a bit of stick for this going, lads. You're ultra negative, but I think you have to call it as a match solely. This doesn't define our season, this win, or this loss. Absolutely, it doesn't define our season, but we've lost against a relegation rival. Drags us right back down there. As I said, I think it's one of the worst performances of the season. I don't think anybody covered themselves in glory today. They were all below par. Every single one of them, including the managers, including the players. Haven't listened to Daniel Farke's post-match press conference yet, but I'd be very, very interested to see what he has to say about that performance. But ultimately now, Dylan, is, as I said, it doesn't define our season. The lads have to dust themselves down. It's a massive game against West Ham now on Friday night. We need to start getting a couple of points on the board now, and we go again.
That's that.
Yeah. Right, lads, we will leave it there. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. And, of course, if you're new here, we would love you to hit that subscribe button. We will be back tomorrow night. We will be live from 8:30 for Talking Points. Sorry, I've enough of talking today. For Talking Points. Myself, Dylan, Jamie Edwards and Stephen Bourne will join us as we'll break down the game. So make sure you pop in for that one and get your thoughts on it below. So that is it from Leeds Bros. Mind yourselves, mind each other. We'll catch you in the next one.